Hello again, and welcome to the Prince Magnum channel. I'm your host, Prince Magnum. Welcome once again to Surviving Romance. This episode, we're going to talk about making your own homemade corn tortilla chips. This is also going to be one of the first episodes where I start diving into a little bit of science about cooking, okay? And we're going to dive into some other things just kind of new to the cooking aspect of the channel, okay? First things first, get yourself some corn tortilla chips. White or yellow does not matter. If you make your own, my hat's off to the chef. Anyhow, we got these actually on sale from our friends at the Bonterre Country Mart. Thank you very much, guys. From here, you're basically going to take them out of the package, obviously, and you're going to split them like you see me doing right here. The next thing you're also going to need is a total of 3 limes and 2 tablespoons of kosher salt. Now, half of these we did with the lime solution, the other half we did plain. We'll talk more about that later. Alright, first things first. Split your limes like you see me do right here. If your hands are not as strong as mine, it is perfectly okay for you to buy a juicer, which technically I should too. I have a severe case of tendonitis in my left hand, and yeah, that's why you see me a lot of times wearing braces in a lot of my videos. So do me a favor, if you don't have this kind of strength, buy a juicer. No one's going to look down their nose at you, and if they do, tell them exactly what I would tell them. Tell them to kiss your hind end. Okay. Add your salt to the solution, and basically you're going to stir it up till you don't see any salt. And basically, if you dip your finger in there and it tastes really, really, really tart, you got it right. Okay. Make as much of the solution as you think you're going to need for the amount of chips. It's okay if you have a little bit left over. All right. Also, while we're on the subject, kind of a side note for you all. If you are going to do homemade tortilla chips, like in this video, please juice your own limes. If you're going to do anything where it requires juice, do not buy the stuff that's in the little bottles. The lemon or the lime juice like that, please don't do that. Squeeze it fresh, okay? I don't know why they continue to put that stuff out there. It's always dirt cheap and it always tastes nasty. So that should be a definite indicator right there. Okay, now that that's out of the way, let's talk a little bit about some science here. Okay, why deep fry your food? Well, number one, it's an efficient way of cooking your food besides adding flavor to the food. For whatever reason or another, we human beings are drawn to deep fried foods. Probably has something to do with the fact that fatty foods means energy for the body, and human beings are still wired by nature to be animals, no matter what some people might try to tell you. You know, that's just the way it is. We're still hardwired as animals. It should also be noted that eating this sort of stuff every day is not healthy for you, but if you do it right and you enjoy this every now and again, this sort of stuff, it's not going to be that bad for you. Is it still unhealthy? Yeah, but it tastes good, so shut up. All right. Also, notice there's something else that I think it should be noted. For whatever reason or another, I don't use regular table salt in most of the foods that you see made here on the Prince Magnum channel. On occasion, you'll see me use sea salt, and we're working up to doing caramel candy, the expensive kind, at home, and you'll see me use probably pink Himalayan salt. We'll talk more about that stuff at a later date, but just understand, if you're like me and regular table salt makes you sick, don't use it. Use kosher salt or sea salt. I promise you, um, your stomach will thank you. Okay? Now that we've gotten that out of the way, basically at this point, you're going to see me dipping the soon to be chips in the solution. It should be noted that as you see me dipping this stuff into this solution, lay it out on some sort of baking rack to let them kind of air dry. Um, it'll help the cooking process if they're a little dry instead of being, damp, soaked with the solution. It gives it a chance for the food to, the if you will, the marinade to soak in a little bit better. This is not meat; it'll actually soak in, increasing the flavor. Okay. Also, wet food takes longer to cook. Just the way it is. Science, isn't it fun? Kind of a salute to my favorite chef, Chef Alton Brown of the Food Network. Okay. While we're also on the subject, I know some of you might be sitting there saying, Prince Magnum, I can buy, I could buy tortilla chips at my grocery store, and that's true. You can. And there's nothing wrong with that, except in this particular case, it should be noted that the chips that you will see being made here are cheaper in the long run than the store-bought chips. Let me give you an example. The three limes, the kosher salt, and the tortilla chips, the tortillas used to make the chips, are actually, I don't think I spent more than $5. Well, for $5 at your local supermarket, you're going to make the amount that you see made in this video, you're going to spend twice to three times more than that, and the chips usually come crushed, practically. They're almost like chip dust. I mean, they don't even resemble chips, if you ask me. The reason being is you're paying more for the preservatives that went in to those chips, and you're paying for that fancy bag that it comes in. So, to me, that's a ripoff. If you can make it at home, please do so. Also, you'll hear me constantly saying here on the channel that food made at home with fewer preservatives seems to improve our health around here a great deal. So just bear that in mind for those of you who are trying to be healthy. Yes, this is still kind of an unhealthy application, but at least you're getting some health benefits by doing it at home. Okay? Just kind of a side note there. Lots of side notes in here for you. Lots of science in here for you, which I like. It should also be noted that the amount that I used to marinate, if you need to make more, it's okay to make more. And if you have leftover, no big deal. Again, this is cheap. And some of these we tried to do plain. It should also be noted, for whatever reason or another, I'm sure there's probably one of you out there who watches the Prince Magnum channel who can probably explain this probably better than I can. The ones that were plain kind of turned a nasty dark brown. They were still good, but they really weren't great to present. The yellow ones, it did not matter, but the white ones, just the plain white corn tortilla chips just did not turn out. So if you're going to try to make plain ones, you might want to go ahead and stick with the yellow tortillas. If you're going to use the white, make sure that you use the lime solution for all of them. Okay? So, wow, lots of science. I didn't know I had it in me. All right. While we're on the subject of science as well, let's talk about cooking oils real quick. For this application, we used vegetable oil. You can use peanut oil, safflower oil, corn oil. You can use any oil like that. Please avoid the temptation of using like extra virgin olive oil. Extra virgin olive oil and butter are not good for deep frying. The simple reason because they have a tendency to start burning at the temperatures that it requires you to deep fry. They have what we call a low smoke point. Now, I already hear some of you out there whining, Prince Magnum, what's a smoke point? That's the point where an oil starts breaking down and starts tasting nasty. Um, Extra virgin olive oil is better suited for salad dressings and dips. Um, could you use the classic cold pressed olive oil? I wouldn't push it. Just stick with a good peanut oil, safflower oil, corn oil, canola, or or vegetable oil like we did in this application. It should also be noted, even though the Prince Magnum channel does not have a legal department, if you have allergies to any one of these, use one of the other oils. Like people who have allergies to peanuts, please do not use peanut oil. Um, just be smart about that, okay? Don't be don't be a dummy, okay? I don't think any of you who view the Prince Magnum channel are dumb. Should also be noted, we're going to show a little bit of frying in this. Um, you're going to hear some sizzling when you hear the frying noise. It's perfectly okay. A little science about that. When you hear the sizzling happening, that's the temperature rising in the food and the moisture inside of it steaming off. When you don't hear that anymore, that is a bad thing. That means that all the moisture has cooked out and now grease is going to invade your food, thus giving you greasy food. Okay? So don't do that. All right? Please don't do that. All right, let's get on with this. We're going to start deep frying now. 375 degrees is what you want your oil at. That's a good frying temperature. If you're not like me, who knows their stove pretty doggone well for the most part when it comes to deep frying, yes, I tried this out beforehand. You might want to invest in a good fry thermometer or secure a probe thermometer where it's not touching the sides or the bottom of the pan to give you a false reading, and that'll help you monitor the temperature of your oil. Okay, no shame in that. Just one of them things. Get yourself some sort of a retrieval device, like you see this plastic spider that I'm using. Metal is probably better preferred, but we have plastic in this case. If you don't have either one of those, a pair of tongs will work in a pinch. Tongs. Pinch. Get the joke, son? Anyhow. You might need to kind of move them around a little bit. Please do not crowd your pan. That is a bad thing. It'll take longer to cook, and you'll have spots that'll be underdone, some of them that'll be done. Ask anybody who's ever overcrowded a fry basket in a restaurant. It just never turns out good. Okay, so please don't do that here at home either. Okay, basically you're going to see the chips come out and set them on some sort of a draining rig so excess oil can drain away, and basically you'll have food that isn't greasy. It's nice, crisp, and it's you know it's good. It's good. I can't put enough to that. It's good. Try it. You'll like it. Again, I think it should also be noted that if you're going to do as many as you've seen here, we ate these over a course of a couple of days. But if your wife is throwing some sort of a get-together with friends, maybe she's got a friend coming over and they're going to do each other's nails. Maybe she's got a friend coming over. They're going to color each other's hair. Or maybe she's got a friend coming over to watch movies or whatever. This is a great way to kind of be the hero husband. Okay, so husbands, take heed. This might be something you want to try, and if you're making it at home, oh, these are homemade. Bragging rights through and through for your wife. And believe me, she deserves it, okay? She definitely deserves it. She puts up with us husbands, and sometimes we can be pains in the neck to deal with, okay? So give it a try and take a look at those. Don't those look good? I think a lot of you were already thinking what I'm thinking. All right. Let's talk about, again, frying. Here in a moment, we are going to cut away, and even though the narration part is still going to be going, I'm going to stop talking, okay? You're going to hear that sizzling noise that I talk about, uh, you know, that I've been talking about throughout the video. When you hear that, that is a good sound, okay? When they turn a golden brown, get them out of the pot. If you wait beyond that and you don't hear that sizzling anymore, that is a bad thing, okay? Um, so again, that's where we stand on this. And then we're going to cut away after this clip, and we're going to just end it as usual. Okay? There you have it, folks. Simple, easy, homemade corn tortilla chips for your other half. I hope you like this video. As always, get out there and work on a project. If you have a sweetheart, sweep them off their feet. And as always, if nobody has told any of you that they love you today, Prince Magnum does. God bless you, and have a happy 24. Thank you. How many lives do you think I'd say?
The Prince Random Channel rocks.